everybody, and welcome back to the Ghastly Toy Crypt. Bad news, no toy hunt today. The good news is we are going to do some action figure surgery. Yes, that is correct. I have another upgrade kit to not only unbox, but install. And what figure are we going to be operating on today? It's a very good question. Glad you asked. We are going to be operating on Studio Series 86 Devastator. Not Devastator as a whole, more like just two of his components. We're going to be taking a look at Scrapper and Bonecrusher, because I have the DNA, was a DK-70 upgrade kit for these two guys. So let me go ahead, move the camera around, get this guy prepped for operation, and we'll take a look at what's in the box. That is about as good as the entire figure of Devastator can fit in this camera angle with what I'm working with. But that's fine. We don't need the entire bot. We just need these two guys. So let's go ahead and get him amputated. Now to get these two in their bot modes. Now that we have these two guys prepped and ready for surgery, we'll move them out of the way for right now, and we will go ahead and take a look at the box right here. All right. DNA Designs kits. I really like these kits. Some kits are better than others. I did have the previous Devastator kit for the Combiner Wars, and I think it did a really good job. I think it was also their first one, too, if I'm not mistaken. Somebody fact-check me on that and drop the answer in the comments. Is that engagement baiting? I don't know. Did you make a comment? If so, it worked. Anyway, so we have the DK-70 Wrap Crusher upgrade kit, so Scrapper and Bonecrusher. And you see a couple of horns. If you're familiar with the 1986 movie, whenever they were doing the coronation of Starscream, all the Constructicons were playing his coronation. I guess their equivalents of like pomp and circumstance, I guess. I don't know. But we'll go ahead and turn it over, take a look at what's on the back here. So everything on this side is going to be for Scrapper. Everything on this side is going to be for Bonecrusher. Scrapper's fairly easy. We do see a lot of gap fillers here, so I think that is the one we're going to do first. But right here on the other side, we have to do a little bit more of actual figure surgery. We have this new component right here, which will replace this component here. And we'll go into more detail here whenever we get knee deep into it. But he's going to get replacement forearms. He's going to get the little component fixed right here, and he actually has some slippers that we're going to put on him. So let's go ahead and crack it open. Thought I had pre-sliced it. Take a look at everything, and we get some bonus horns in case gold's not your thing. If you're more of a silver person, we have those. And this is going to be our pin pusher, because like I said, we will have to focus more on some of those actual surgery things. Oh, you know what? Please hold. All right, I had to slice the tape on the sides of the plastic bubble here, but let's get this opened up. And now that I'm looking at the pieces, I think it's going to be easier to go ahead and start with Scrapper first. So let's go ahead and get his pieces all out, and that will be these two guys. Let's see if I can do this symmetrically somewhat symmetrically as I hover over the camera. These two pieces right here, and I believe these two pieces right here. These two pieces too. So we will bubble that back up so we don't lose any pieces, and bring this guy in right here. Zoom out just a little bit. Move some stuff. Whoa, whoa, whoa. All right. God, get back here. What am I doing? It's not my first day, I promise. All right. So like I said, this is a lot of gap fillers. It'll fill gaps on his arms, his legs, and the bottom of his feet. So let's go ahead and start that off with the arms. Let's go ahead and see if I can zoom in just a little bit more. What we are going to do is we are going to need one of these pieces we will need one of these pieces. I need to figure out which one's which. I think this is the piece we'll need. Whoa! Get back here. So let's go ahead and first put this piece in, which should be, yeah, that's the correct one. We'll put this right in here to fill that gap. I believe this is the right one. I guess we'll find out here. This will go this way, I believe. So we want to orient it this way with the flat side down. And that will go in right there. And that will kind of cover the gap. And it's not supposed to hinder transformation. Ah, yeah, that's nice. It just slides right in there. It was an easy fit, not too shabby. Let's go ahead and do it to this side too. And it just slides in this gap right here, just like that. Doesn't snap into place, fits securely. I guess it is easy for it to slide out, so be careful about that. Would have been nice to have a little bit more of a snugger fit, but if it stays in place, I'm not too worried about it. All right, so we're ready for the back of the leg gap fillers. Also, just a heads up, if you hear a cat meowing in the background, one of my cats, I guess, is having a spell of separation anxiety. She doesn't really, but anytime I'm in here and she hears me talking and she's not in the room, she feels like she has to be in the room. Cats, right? Anyway, I digress. So let's go ahead and turn this guy over. We're going to put these two gap fillers in right here. Let me zoom in. There we go. I think that looks good. And you can tell like how each of the leg gaps have this little notch right here. That is going to be where we will slot these in, I believe. Yep, I just had it upside down. And if this is your first video or you're joining us again, you should know that I don't look at the instructions before I make these videos. I kind of put it together and look at the instructions as I'm filming. Therefore, you and I take this journey together. And that's how I like to do it. I'm going to turn him here, so there we go. And that's how I will always do it. All right, so we got some gap fillers. You know, it makes them a little less gappier. I think it looks fine. I don't necessarily know if it was needed. It probably could have been less plastic, but it's fine. But let's go ahead and take a look at these toesies right here. That's such a stupid, such a stupid angle. Such a dumb angle. That's what I'm going to use though. So we'll get him nice and zoomed in. We are going to take these guys and drop them to fill in the gaps of the toes. We will go with this one first. And that is a much more snugger fit than the gap fillers for the arms. This is good. I like a nice snug fit like this. And we'll just, whoa, easy there, buddy. Cutting you off. We'll go ahead and put the other one in. Just give it a good push. A little bit of resistance, but I think that just makes it a better, tighter fit. Nothing that's going to stretch your plastic or anything on your main bot, but it will give it that nice tight fit. I do like this. That's nice. This is nice. Again, not a big, tight fit, but it does hide the fist just a little bit better for Scrapper. And that's all of the upgrade parts for Scrapper. It's just a bunch of gap fillers. So let me go ahead and bring in Bonecrusher, and we will take a look at everything he comes with. Before I bring out the pieces for Bonecrusher, let's just go ahead and take a look at them real quick under the camera. One of the big complaints that a lot of people had was the stubbiness of the forearms. And, you know, I'm not going to lie. Whenever I first saw it, I saw the same thing that everybody else saw. I also realized that, like, this is a toy. Like, it doesn't... I don't need $300 toy quality in what was a $25 toy. So it didn't really bother me. It kind of grew on me. Besides, I'm going to have this guy in Devastator mode for the majority of the time anyway. So it's something that I'm like, it didn't bother me. And another big issue that people had was the lack of waist swivel due to the shovel hindering the waist swivel. And the waist swivel there is mainly just for more for transformation and Devastator mode, because that's the hinge for his shoulder. So in order to transform him, you have to take this peg it in right there, which hinders the swivel. And there's a piece that comes in the set that changes this mechanism right here. So let's take a look at that. So we have a brand new pair of slippers for him to go on his feet. Bring me back there. We have the two new forearms for him right here. And we have the new, what I guess I'm going to call it the shovel mechanism for his giant chest shovel. And something that we have to do is there is a pin that runs the length of this right here. So we will have to use this tool and this pin and push it out and replace it to change all of this. Let's go ahead and dive in. The instructions say to use a blow dryer to heat up this area, because this is the pin right here we want to push. So we'll hit it with a blow dryer. I had to raid my wife's side of the bathroom for it. So we're going to heat up this pin. We're going to use the pin pusher, and we are going to push the pin from right to left. We'll want to take the pin, put it right there, and push it right out. All right, listen, I am embarrassed to say how long that actually took. It was ridiculous. Okay, so you get the pin pusher right here. You definitely have to heat this part right up a lot. Like it took me probably 10 to 15 minutes to figure out how to do it safely without damaging the figure. So hit it with a lot of heat. The instructions recommend that you use a hammer when using the pin pusher. I I definitely had to use the hammer. If you have a better pin pusher, I would probably recommend to use one better than this. Also, the legs get in the way, so I would recommend taking them off the ball joint, so that way whenever you do have to put them on a flat surface, you kind of orient them like this, so that way he lays flat. You can twist the waist, and that gives you a little bit more stability when you're hammering down on this guy right here. So after a while, I finally got it. So we will take the old rod, put it right there, or the old pin, I should say, and we will put you off to the side. Let's go ahead and zoom in and take a look. So this is what came off of Bonecrusher, and what we are going to want to do is the shovel part is just on a friction peg. So we will want to just take that off, and we want to keep that. And this is what's going away. We don't need this guy anymore because we have this guy right here, and I can actually give you a better look here. And this guy actually splits apart. So what we're going to want to do is we are going to want to, how do I want to do this? We are going to want to take this part off. It's supposed to separate. And we will take this part right here, and we will put on the shovel. All right. So remember, you want the peg up because that's what's going to peg into his chest. So we will go ahead and take this, and we will just slide it on as best as we can. Yep, there we go. That was actually a lot easier than I thought. So this part is done. And what's really cool is that these fold in, and that is what is going to give him the ability to have a waist swivel, because the other part will connect back into this whenever he is in construction mode. Let's bring back in our Bonecrusher and our bottom half of the new mechanism, and we have a new pin that came with the upgrade kit. So this is the pin that I will be using, and I don't know if you can tell, but it doesn't have one of like the rougher edges. So this is what the old pin looked like right here. So it doesn't have this tip right here. So I don't think it has to go in a certain way, but what we will do is we will use this pin to resecure the new part back to his crotchular area right there. And we want this to look like this right here whenever you pin it on. So we'll place it right there. Can I zoom in a little bit more? I don't know if the camera will pick it up or not. Whoa! Get back here. Easy. So we will put that right there. We'll place the new pin. Get everything lined up. It looks like everything is going in very well. Yep, not bad. Not bad. A nice snug fit. There we go. Bam. That wasn't supposed to happen. And take two. I mean, it is supposed to happen because it's rigged to clip in and clip out, which will once again enable him to do the waist swivel. This, if you can tell, is a nice tight fit, and the pin is in there securely. I like it a lot. Let's go ahead and get this guy put back together and see what it looks like. And we can take the arms off, or bring the arms down, bring this guy down, bring this guy down, and we will bring in this guy. So that way, zoom in again, we can clip this. That way that peg will fit right in there again. After everything is said and done on the little shovel mechanism, this is how it's supposed to look in robot mode. And unfortunately, you do have to piece them apart to put the shovel back together. I think it's a small price to pay just to get an added waist swivel. Parts forming stuff has never bothered me at all. I know a lot of people think otherwise. At the end of the day, this is a toy and I'm here to have fun with it. So I think this does improve it in terms of posability and fun. So a little bit of parts forming, not going to bother me. Let's move on to the two new forearms. Now this should be relatively simple. Let's zoom in. I think all we have to do is take this guy, pop him off the ball joint, bring it back in. Whoop, chest popped off. So, you know, take that for what it is. I'm going to tell you, in person, there doesn't look to be too much of a color difference, but on camera, I can definitely tell that this is slightly darker. So that's interesting, but it is a good tight fit, and the new forearms allow you to tuck his fist in for transformation. And they do not look anywhere near as stubby as the other hands. So I think this is a nice upgrade part. Let me go ahead and do the other one. Let's go ahead and move on to his pair of slippers. So what we're going to want to do is we're going to want to take the feet, which, by the way, these feet don't really bother me, but for the sake of the video, I'll put these guys on. You want to take the toes, point them down, and you want the slipper that has the extended peg that matches up with the bottom of the foot, because that is going to be how he puts his ruby slippers on. Not so ruby slippers. There's no place like Devastator. Put that one on too. And he is officially complete. And there he is with all of his upgrades on. I do think that the shovel component and the arms are a really good upgrade. I'm not too sold on the slippers just yet. Let me go ahead and change the camera because I want to stand him up because I want to show you something that happens when you put the slippers on. This is what Bonecrusher looks like with all of the upgrade kits put on. But a second ago I said there was something with these the slippers that I don't like, and you can't tell from looking at the video, but this piece of the toe that you face downward to put this the slipper on. I don't know why I keep calling them slippers. There's nothing at the bottom of this that keeps it from, there's nothing to, like, I guess, meet the bottom of it. How do I want to say this? There's nothing for it to rest on the bottom. So when you put the toe on, there's all this excess space, and it makes the toe rock forward like this. So it's, even though it is pegged in and is secure, if he's front heavy, he is going to do the smooth criminal right here. So that, again, I don't think the feet pieces were needed at all. I definitely think the arms help out, and I definitely think the waist swivel helps out, so we can get him in some cool poses like that. But again, he'll he'll do one of those numbers here. While I have him here, let me go ahead and transform him so we can see that new transformation and how everything kind of fits together. We won't need these, so we can go ahead and take those off. And they do clasp together, and there is a function for these in Devastator mode, which I will get to here very shortly. But when we transform them, they actually get stored on the back of his vehicle mode. So what we want to do is, you're going to take the new piece, you're going to flip the panel open, you're going to flip the fist in, and you just want to we're going to leave this off to the side. I'm not going to lie, oh man, that's awful. Why? That's kind of a bummer. Like, DNA usually makes solid stuff. And I don't know, maybe it's just me. Maybe I'm not, I don't know, giving it my magic touch today, but things have been popping off of this kit, which, you know, I mean, take it or leave it. It's a toy. So we will leave the shovel off for right now until we go ahead and transform him up. So we are just transforming him like normal. And we gotta take these guys right here. That is what the new top of that looks like. This will plug in right there. We'll go right there. This comes back this way like normal. Plug that in. Plug that in. And what we want for our shovel, we'll bring this piece back in. We're going to extend these pieces, and then we will just attach it like so. There we go. Aha! There we go. And then these will come back here, and they will, let's see, I think they kind of plug in like this. No? Oh, that way. That plugs in right here. And then this will just plug in right there. Come on. Again, fat fingers, so. And that's how that looks, I guess. Yes. Alright, let's take a look at Scrapper. You don't really do anything special for Scrapper. It's pretty much his straight up legit transformation. Be right there, right there. Actually, leave those out right there for a second. We'll go that way. That. That. And then these will circle back around up here, snap in, and then we will go ahead and plug in the arms like normal. And there is Scrapper. So let me go ahead and change the camera angle real quick, and I'll show you these guys front facing. Close to wrapping up the last part of the video, I transformed Scrapper into his foot mode right here. I'm going to give him a little walkway spin right there. There is one more function of these slippers right here. What you can do is you can sandwich them in between his arms right here for added stability. But as I was messing around with it a second ago, it just seems like not that much thought kind of went into it, because it doesn't really, because you're supposed to take these notches right here and they sit on these pegs, but when you sit them on the pegs, whenever you don't accidentally separate the feet here, when they sit on the pegs, they don't really close up tight, they don't really hold very well, and they kind of just pop off. See, like this, and it's just very easy to have these things not sit the way that they're supposed to, and no amount of force nope. No amount of force can really make them sit very well. So I don't know, man. Like I feel like these were just completely unnecessary. You could have saved that plastic too and given us something else. But see, it just meh. Whatever. They can't all be winners, I guess. But that's a bummer too, because I was kind of hoping that this would hold. But alas, it does not. As we wrap up the video here, I'm going to drop in some photos so we can do a side-by-side before and after. The wrist fillers seem nice. Again, they don't really fit in there as snug as I would like them to. They might pop out if you get a fingernail under there when you're flipping out the wrists. The underarm bicep gap fillers, I'm not 100% sure if they were needed, but I guess it's just a nice addition. Same thing with the back leg gap fillers. It doesn't really fill out the cavity too much, so I really just don't know if it was needed at all. And we have the feet covers, or the gap fillers for the feet. Surprisingly, out of the 3 gap fillers, this is the one that I like the most, mainly because whenever you put him in Devastator mode, he does look a little bit more filled in. So I don't necessarily mind it. Was it needed? Probably not, but out of the 3 for him, this is the one I like the most. And I'll go ahead and do a side-by-side comparison with Bonecrusher here as well. Absolutely one last thing before I go. I realized I forgot to show you. They're little trumpets. They're little coronation trumpets. There is Scrapper's, and he can't really, or I guess you can kind of get him close to his mouth here. How do you think these guys like rip some mean jazz? Like, do you think I don't know, they're bopping along to like some King Oliver, some Kid Ory? I don't know. Is Bonecrusher a Miles Davis guy? I know this isn't Bonecrusher, but do they have I don't know, a favorite jazz musician? There is Bonecrusher. I think between the 2 of them, he looks like he's playing a little bit better. The length of the forearm, the new forearm, can actually have him hold the horn close to his face, you know, as he rips some mean Louis Armstrong with his hot 5s and his hot 7s. Look it up. I think these are cool. I will note that the plastic of these seems very, I don't know, like hard. I feel like they'll snap. Like if they're like pressure is applied to them, or if they take a tumble from an upstairs, a higher shelf, even on carpet. I feel like if it lands wrong, these things are snapping in half. So the quality of the plastic on these things aren't that great. I guess it is good that they have their horns now, because we are slowly approaching to the Mardi Gras season. I myself am originally from South Louisiana. This is Mardi Gras time for me. Sadly, there's not a lot of Mardi Gras celebrations up in North Georgia. But, you know, these guys are halfway there. They're green and purple. They just need the gold. Well, I guess no, they are like full Mardi Gras. Look, because their horns are gold. That's awesome. I got some Mardi Gras Constructicons. What am I saying? What am I doing here? And that's the upgrade kit. I think overall it's probably not needed. Very few pieces will actually improve the overall aesthetic of Devastator. There is an overall Devastator kit coming out. I do have the DK-71 kit, which is made for long haul and hook. So stay tuned for that video. It will come eventually. Overall, it's kind of underwhelming. I think the two pieces that I really like on this thing are maybe the new forearms. I'm 50-50 on the new shovel mechanism on Bonecrusher, and really the only thing I like on on Scrapper is the bottom of the feet for the gap fillers. And the horns are nice too. That is going to do it. Thank you so much for watching this video. You could have gone anywhere on YouTube to watch a video, but you chose to use your time to watch this one. And that means the world to me. If you're here and you're so inclined, go ahead and give the video a thumbs up. Share it with a friend. Hit the hype button. That's still something I'm getting used to. Hit the hype button. I don't exactly know what it does. Hopefully it pushes the video out to the algorithm more. And hit subscribe if you are so inclined. It's free for you, costs you nothing. So just click the subscribe button, sit back, and that's all you got to do. Done. That's the end of the video. We'll see you real soon. Stay spooky.